Hey, you. Yes, you, the one who keeps smiling. Even when your heart is heavy. Even when your body is tired. Even when no one knows the full weight you're carrying. You've become so good at it, haven't you? The smile that says, I'm okay. The nod that says, I can handle it. The brightness in your voice that says, don't worry about me. You've perfected the art of showing up, of being reliable, of being strong, of being the one people turn to when their world feels unsteady, even when your own is quietly cracking at the edges. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to make things heavier than they already are, so you absorb. You soften your own sadness to protect the room. You minimize your needs so others can breathe easier. You tuck your ache behind small talk, behind helpfulness, behind jokes. And slowly, almost without noticing, you start disappearing. Not from others, but from yourself. It's easy not to notice, because you still function, you still laugh, you still post the pictures, make the deadlines, say the right things. But somewhere deep down, a quiet version of you is whispering, when will someone notice I'm not really okay? And the truth? Most people won't. Not because they don't care, but because you've taught them not to ask. You've made it look easy. You've made yourself smaller for their comfort. You've made strength look effortless, so no one realizes the cost. I want to say something to you that maybe no one has said in a while. You shouldn't have to smile just so others don't worry. Your job is not to protect everyone else from the truth of your heart. You don't exist to keep the peace by denying your own pain. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to not be okay. You are allowed to cry in the same room you once comforted everyone else in. Because smiling through the hurt doesn't make it disappear. It just makes it lonelier. I see it. The way you pause before answering honestly. The way your lips curve up even when your chest sinks down. The way you dismiss your own struggles as not that bad, just because someone else might have it worse. But pain doesn't need to be ranked to be real. Your sadness is not invalid just because someone else is drowning deeper. You matter. Your feelings matter. And your heart deserves gentleness even when it isn't shattered, just tired. Where did you learn that your emotions are too much? Was it when you cried as a child and were told to be strong? Was it when you opened up to someone and they looked away? Was it when you admitted you were struggling and the conversation awkwardly changed? At some point, your system received the message. If I'm honest about my pain, it makes people uncomfortable, so I'll protect them from it. And you've done such a good job protecting them. You've become everyone's anchor, everyone's helper, everyone's safe space. But who's that for you? Who catches you when the smile fades behind closed doors? Who holds you when you're too exhausted to keep pretending? Who tells you it's okay to fall apart sometimes? It's okay to be the strong one. It's okay to be dependable, radiant, caring. But strength that never rests becomes resentment. Kindness that never receives becomes depletion. A smile that hides sadness for too long becomes a mask that's hard to take off. I know you're scared of what will happen if you stop smiling. You're scared people will pull away. You're scared they'll say, "You've changed." You're scared no one will know what to do with your vulnerability. But the people who love you, truly love you, want your truth more than your performance. They don't want the edited version of you. They want you. And the right ones will stay. Even when your voice shakes, even when the tears fall, even when the light dims for a while. Because you've given the world so much grace. It's time to give some back to yourself. Not in the form of another to-do list. Not in the form of pretending again. But in the form of rest. Of asking for help. Of saying, I'm not okay. and letting that be enough. Because it is. You are. There's a version of you, deep beneath the practiced smiles and thoughtful responses, that is still waiting for permission to be seen. Not the strong version, not the responsible one, not the light of the group, the one who always bounces back, but the version of you that gets quiet when no one's looking, the version that gets teary while brushing your teeth, that stares at the ceiling at 2 a.m., wondering why, even when surrounded by people, you still feel alone. That part of you isn't weak, it isn't broken, it's just tired of carrying things in silence, and it's asking, gently, almost fearfully, is there space for me here? Here's the answer, even if no one said it out loud yet. Yes, there is space for all of you. Not just the bright parts, not just the parts that make other people feel good, but the parts that ache too, the parts that don't have the right words, the parts that cry for no reason, the parts that need more than you think you're allowed to ask for. Because here's the truth most of us never learned. Being a light for others doesn't mean setting yourself on fire. You were not born to be consumed by your own effort to keep everyone else warm. You don't have to be the sunshine every day. You don't have to explain your pain in perfect language before it's allowed to be valid. You don't have to smile just because people expect you to be okay. You can say, I need help. You can say, I'm not sure what I feel. You can say nothing and simply sit in silence without offering anyone comfort but yourself. And that's not selfish. That's healing. I know it feels risky to let someone in, to show the parts of yourself you've hidden even from your own mirror. Maybe you've been the strong one for so long, you're afraid that if you stop, everything will fall apart. That people will think you've changed, that they'll love you less. But the people who only love your smile don't really love you. They love how you make them feel. That's not the same thing. The people who deserve a seat at your table are the ones who say, you don't have to be okay for me to stay. And if you've never had someone say that, let this be the first time. You don't have to be okay for me to stay. You're allowed to be the soft one. You're allowed to be the confused one. You're allowed to have a day where your smile doesn't show up. And you're allowed to ask for more. More care, more clarity, more connection, even if you've been the one giving it for years. The giving doesn't stop, but it changes shape when it's mutual, when you receive too, when you let someone hold the space for you for once. There's a moment that happens, quiet, small, when someone looks at you and doesn't expect you to perform. And in that moment, something inside you unclenches. You don't even realize how tense you've been until your body relaxes, like an emotional exhale, like a door inside you finally opens after years of being stuck. You deserve that kind of moment, often, not as a reward for being useful, but simply because you are human. So this week, if the smile feels hard to find, let it rest. Let your face be quiet. Let your eyes look tired. Let your breath be shallow, if that's all you can manage. And if someone asks, are you okay? Maybe, just once, you tell the truth. Not all of it, not everything, just something small. Like, it's been a long week. Like, I'm a little tired, to be honest. Like, thanks for asking. Because every time you tell the truth, you give your body permission to stop performing. And that's where peace begins. Somewhere deep inside you, there's a version of yourself that remembers how to rest. Not performative rest. Not, I'll lie down but still check my email rest, but real rest. The kind where your jaw unclenches, where your shoulders soften, where you don't have to smile, talk, carry, or fix. That version of you is still there, underneath the practiced composure, underneath the strength that's been applauded, underneath the fear of letting anyone down. That part of you remembers what it feels like to just be, to not be the glue, to not be the buffer, to not be the strong one. And I hope one day, soon, you get to meet that version of you again, because they are not gone. They're just waiting, patiently, kindly, quietly. If you need someone to give you permission, let this letter be that. You are allowed to take the mask off. You are allowed to lay the armor down. You are allowed to be seen in all your softness and still be loved. Your joy doesn't have to be constant to be valid. Your light doesn't have to shine all the time to be beautiful. And your value does not disappear on the days you feel heavy. You've spent so long carrying the world in your hands, but you are part of that world too. You deserve the same care, the same attention, the same gentleness that you so instinctively give to everyone else. You're not here to be everyone's solution. You're not responsible for everyone else's peace. You were never meant to disappear behind your own kindness. You were meant to live, fully, freely, honestly, with a smile that rises not from duty, but from something lighter, deeper, more whole. There will be people who don't understand, people who only loved the version of you that made things easy for them, people who flinch when your honesty makes them uncomfortable. Let them go. Let them leave your table gently, with gratitude, and without you chasing after them to prove your worth. Because for every person who walks away when your smile fades, there are others waiting who will stay, who will say, "I don't love you because you're strong. I love you because you're real." The right ones will sit with you in your quiet. They'll walk beside you in your fog. They'll hold your truth in their hands like it's something sacred, because it is. You are. So here's how this letter ends. Not with a solution, not with another list of things to improve, but with a soft reminder, the kind you maybe haven't heard in a while. You are already enough. Not because of your effort, not because of your usefulness, not because of your smile, but because you exist. And that is reason enough for gentleness, for rest, for love that expects nothing in return. You've given so much. You've stayed so strong. You've smiled through storms no one saw. But now it's your turn to be held, to be asked how you are and actually tell the truth, to let someone carry something for you, even just for a little while. Not because you can't do it alone, but because you were never supposed to. To the one who smiles so others don't worry, I see you. I honor your strength, but I also honor your fatigue. And I hope this week you let yourself be human again. Not perfect, not polished, just real, just present, just enough, exactly as you are. Take care of your heart. It's done so much for so many. Now let it rest. We'll be right here when you return.